So good morning, everyone, and it's such a pleasure to be here at the Women Economic Forum in India. I want to hear a shout in the room. Woo! And you know, I'm so excited about the topic we're sharing today because we're talking about embracing no and unleashing opportunities. Gunshots was what I heard, and the next thing I knew was the driver who was driving me just kind of stepped on the brakes and left me in the car. I thought it was a dream, but the next thing I saw was he was running barefooted behind me, and there I was in the middle of chaos. And I saw people running left, right, and center. It was such a turmoil that I didn't know what to do. I froze. I literally froze. The next thing I heard in my spirit, I was just like, God, what do I do? Just tell me what to do. I could see these guys all covered up in their masks. The gunshots were in the air, and there I was in the car. A few minutes before they got to my car, I noticed them dragging two couples out of the car in front of me. And with the way they harassed them, I knew it was soon going to be my turn. What do I do? What do I do? I just heard a voice that said, run, run. And the next thing I knew, I felt some strength in my legs, and I sneaked out of the car carefully, and I started to run. Wait, stop! Was all I heard, but all I could feel was strength in my legs to run. And so I ran as fast as I could. I crossed the highway to the other side. I faced the oncoming traffic, and I just kept running. I just kept running. The gunshots I could hear, and I ran into the bush. I kept running as fast as I could until my strength waned out. When my strength waned out, I fell on a hill, like an ant hill. I covered myself with as many trees and leaves I could gather, and I stayed there. I was probably there for hours until I felt it was time. Things were quiet around me, and I could come out and see what was going on. I rushed back to the road, and everywhere was dark. And I thought to myself, I left my office at about 12 p.m. For it to be dark, I must have been here for hours. And so I waved to any car that will stop to pick me up on the highway. And there was this truck carrying some cows to the north, and they stopped to help me to the nearest police station. For the next few weeks, I stayed in my house. I couldn't get out of the house. All I could dream and see were these men with the masks and what could have happened to me. I was in a fluorescent green trouser suit that morning, going for an event in the office, an event that I had planned. Everyone else had a great time at the event eventually, but I didn't show up. I looked at the trouser suit, all soaked in sweat and dirt, and I realized that I had narrowly missed a bullet because I saw it just sneak through my jacket. For days I stayed in the house. I couldn't go back to work. But in my mind, I kept saying, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. And one day I said that to myself again, and I just heard in myself, if you say you will fear no evil, why are you still afraid? And why are you still indoors? Life had given me a blanket of fear, and all I did was wrap it around myself. But one day I said to myself, if I stay here afraid, I'm not going to be the best that I could become. I'm not going to be able to share my story of victory and survival and life and joy and happiness. And so I literally got up that morning and I flung that blanket of fear away. And I got up and I said, I will not be afraid. Life has thrown this at me, but I'm going to embrace new possibilities. And so I got out, I went back to work, and many people were happy to see me. They welcomed me. They wanted to hear my story. I took the trouser suit. I used it as part of my story for quite a while. But after a while, I just, shredded in bits and said, no, this was my past. Now it's time to go for my future. Now, there are many times in our lives when things happen to us that we didn't plan. Because after all, that day, I never planned it. It was meant to be a happy ending to a great meeting. But life threw that blanket of fear at me, and I had to find a way to let it go. When I look back over my life and the things that I have gone through, I realized that taking off that blanket of fear was something that helped me to achieve so much more. There are many times when we're holding back from the things that God would like us to do, exploring our purpose, helping others, sharing our story. But sometimes we hold back because you're just wondering what could happen. But you know, if we never try in the first place, we may never even know what could happen. I want to encourage us this morning that it's important to let go of the past. The past holds us down. The past keeps us in a comfort zone. It makes us settle for safe. It makes us settle for things that we could actually do beyond. There is greatness inside each and every one of us. And to be unstoppable at work and life, which is something I preach today, comes with letting go of the past. It comes with embracing yourself, embracing your purpose, embracing what God has called you to do. It comes with embracing change, because guess what? Change is constant. And even if you don't want to change, it's a choice you're making and a change you're making already. Embracing change is a big part of embracing new possibilities. Embracing mistakes and failures is another great part of it. Because if we don't fail, we never learn. And if I look back at that incident, if I didn't have that moment, I probably wouldn't appreciate life the way I do today. I wake up every morning, I'm like, good morning! And people wonder, why do you have so much energy? But I tell them, you can't understand, I'm alive, I'm a miracle. And everywhere I go, that's the energy I want to share with people. Embrace compliments. When I woke up that morning, and my husband said, you look great in that fluorescent suit, because he bought it for me. I just waved it away and was like, okay, it's all good. But then by the evening, when I saw that bullet hole through the jacket, and I could feel the dirt around the trouser suit, I understood the power of just living in the moment and embracing. What if I had just said, oh, thank you, I look beautiful, and taken a picture with him that morning? I probably would have a great picture of that new suit. But now I don't anymore. Embrace compliments. Don't just wait it away. Stay in the moment. If someone says you look good, embrace it. If someone says it's a great day, embrace it. Yeah. Breathe it in. Yeah. Live the moment, because it makes a difference in life. What else should you embrace? You should embrace possibilities. Possibilities that there's a new world out there. There are things that deep down you know you should do. There are things that deep down you know you can do more of. But sometimes we're scared. What if I fail? But what if you try? And what if it works? Yeah. What if I fly? And what if by just sharing my story and stepping out on that thing that I want to do, what if I could change the world? Every one of us can make an impact. I love the game of football. And one thing I always tell my boys when we're playing around in the house is, in life, don't just be the ball. Be the player. Be the one who is calling the shots. Make the choices on where you want your ball to go in life. Don't just be the one that is tossed to and fro at the beginning of a game, and at the end of the game you're wrapped up and they're waiting for the next game. Be the player. Be the one who is making the choices and saying, I'm not going to let this get me down. Because yes, life is full of things that will get us down, but we must be able to get up again and say, I am unstoppable. Yeah. My dreams are unstoppable. Yeah. My goals are unstoppable. Yeah. My purpose in life is unstoppable. I will do what it takes to make a difference, because my God is unstoppable. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
That's really amazing.
Excuse me, were you before you pass?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good morning.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wow, you inspired me, girl. Oh my God, that's amazing. Thank you all for being here. My name is Cherie Darian. I bring you greetings from the U.S. I live in South Carolina, very close to Atlanta, very close to Savannah, very close to Hilton Head. Very nice to be here with you. I love my Indian family. So great. I can pinch myself like I'm literally in India. And so for our topic today, embracing next opportunities. I want you guys to know that you are looking at the next opportunity. I am living, standing in. You talk about that moment, sis, a few minutes ago, and embracing that moment. I am embracing the fact that we are here together in this moment. I feel like I stepped into the future when my feet hit the soil here in India. I am 9.5 hours ahead of my own time zone. It's amazing. It's literally amazing. And my husband sent me a text message this morning and he said, so what time do you arrive back? And I said, on the 17th, I fly out on the 17th. He said, does that mean you're going to arrive on the 18th? I said, actually, I'm going back in time. So I'll be back on the 17th. It's amazing to be here. I do not count this lightly. This is a huge honor. And this is something that was in my spirit this morning as I was preparing, is that, being positive about life is about looking at every single opportunity as a privilege. Like, you don't have to get to do anything, you get to do it. You have a choice. You are here today based on a choice you made. You are wearing what you're wearing based on the choice that you made. Every single thing is based on the choice. It's absolutely amazing. Blame it on Mofu for getting me this excited to share with you today. It is absolutely amazing. And so I just wanted to share with you, first of all, I love my name. Shri is very close to Shri. I hear that a lot from my Indian friends back home. So I feel like I'm one in the family. I actually am the founder and executive director of Second Chance Community Outreach. I am a recovering corporate banker. And so I worked in that field long enough, and then I just kind of burst out, got a bite of the entrepreneur spirit, or that bug, and took a leap of faith and actually left banking, a very comfortable position with staff and obviously a very good salary, but there was a pull for more. And it takes courage to answer the call. It really does. And so I don't want to minimize that or make that seem lightly. That's a big deal, to actually step into your very being and what you're here to do, your purpose. And I'm all about that. So much so, my journey has been quite interesting. And I'm going to jump in here. I have a very fascinating story, if I say so myself. But my life has been a life of next opportunities. In fact, my mantra in life is second chances. It's not just taking the next opportunity, but creating it. I don't want that to sink in. You have the opportunity to create your reality every single day. That's amazing. The power of your presence alone is exceptional. And so I realized that at a very early age that I had an opportunity to do that. So I'm going to quickly run through my journey here. So you're going to have to definitely time me. I'm a talker by nature. So, it's what I do. But at 15, I love telling this story. At 15 years old, I was running down my high school hallway. I literally ran into the arms of my husband. At 15. Head over heels, fell in love with my high school sweetheart. Fast forward, next opportunities, right? Second chances. 15, met him. 16, he's at my sweet 16th birthday party. I remember vividly. Okay, vividly. Just a little bit after that, I'm pregnant with my first child, who is now an honor. I give all praise and honor to my Heavenly Father, but he's a captain in the United States Air Force. So super proud of him. And shortly after that, we obviously got married. That's what you do. We just did it out of order. So we got married after that, actually, in my senior year of high school. So now I have a toddler. I'm not graduated yet. I'm not even 18. My mother signed for me to get married. So I'm a mom. I'm a new wife. I actually leave South Carolina, moved to Texarkana, Texas. Didn't work out with the mother-in-law. Sorry, just is what it is. And I came back to South Carolina with my family. By the time I graduated my high school, just crossed the stage to receive my high school diploma, I actually was fully loaded with identical twins. So now I have a toddler. I'm married. I'm pregnant with identical twins. I'm now graduating high school, and just a simple 2 years later, I have my last child. Her name is Destiny, and that was enough. I had met my destiny in life. But those are second chances. Fast forward, I've had a phenomenal life in spite of all of that. I feel like, I used to say, I've had to grow up fast. Now I say I have an accelerated destiny, and it's all about perspective. You get a hand in life, it's up to you how you play it. And so I created the next opportunity. I followed that intuition, ladies, right, that we have. I followed that guide. And it led me on a very powerful journey. One that led me into a career of banking. And I did that. But I picked up the sensibility that I have. And I'll tell you guys, when I was a kid, I was very timid. I was the girl that wore her heart on her sleeve. Very sensitive. I would cry for anything. You're very emotional. And I am that way still today. I feel so deeply for people. And I have an excellent spirit of empathy. And it's certainly needed in our world today. But back then I didn't like it. I didn't cherish it. I didn't understand the treasure of vulnerability. Today I do. It is absolutely a gift. And I can stand confidently in that because I have become very courageous. But fast forward, so I got into the banking system, and there was people around me that my hands was tied due to a system I wasn't able to serve. They were great people, but if your credit score didn't tally up, or whatever, you didn't cut the criteria, you didn't get approved for various things, whatever it was. And so I adopted that passion and then took a leap of faith because I wanted to do something about it. I didn't want to keep silent because you know what? What you tolerate, you approve. You give power to. And I wanted to change that. And so I wanted to use my voice, my skill set, my expertise, and create more opportunities for other people. Isn't it absolutely amazing that we get to do that? And so I founded Second Chance Community Outreach to provide access to capital for those that want to start businesses, sustainable businesses, to have a remarkable life, and to give them their empowerment to know that they can do and be anything in this world. And so that's what I get to do. No, I have the privilege to do every single day. And it has taken me to places such as this, and I am so, so blessed for that. But I want to leave for you very, very quickly a couple of things. Everybody knows acronyms, right? All, right? That's an acronym. WEF, that's another acronym, sorry. EBW, that's another reason why I'm here. I'm part of a group called Empowering a Billion Women by 2020. And EBW is another acronym. That's what we're here to do. We're here as the #1 financial platform to give women an opportunity to start, launch, grow, and scale their own businesses so that they can take control of their own destinies. And finally, ROW. This is my acronym for you, and I'm taking my seat. Think about row, row, row your boat. R, be ready. Be ready for the opportunities. Okay, you gotta be ready for it, because guess what? Opportunities don't go away, they just go to the next person. Be ready. Number 2, O, be open. Be open to embrace the reality, the infinite possibilities that exist in life. Life is a life of abundance. Abundance. You just gotta look for it. Opportunities are all around you. Don't be afraid to take risk. Step outside of your comfort zone. Experience more to have more. You gotta do that. It's an investment. And then finally, I have 3 for W. Be willing to wait, but always exercise wisdom. God bless you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so first of all, I wholeheartedly welcome you all in India, who are all coming for the first time. And thank you so much, ladies, who have spoken so well. You guys have inspired me for sure. Okay, so briefly introducing myself, my name is Khushbu Lalwani. I'm studying in University of Delhi. I'm 19 years old. I'm a teacher, I'm a student, teacher by, and teach German. I'm a social activist and I'm a social worker too.
Awesome.
Okay, so I would just like to tell something about my course. I'm learning BA Honours in Social Work, which means I work with all the age groups. Be it 2 years of age, be it 4 years of age, be it 18 years, or the youngsters, or the old generation we have. So today the topic we have is embracing no, unleashing next opportunities. Before I just quickly introduce, I have quickly introduced myself, before I just go on to the topic, I would just like to ask one thing. Has anyone faced ever rejection?
Yeah.
Everybody does, I do it every day. Okay, so does it affect you?
Absolutely.
It does. It affects our mental health, it affects us socially, it affects our family, it affects us as an individual, it affects us in every possible way. It really brings a lot of courage to talk about it, to think about it, that why has somebody rejected us? So I would just like to tell you about myself. In 2011, I was in class 6th. So we had a foreign language because I was from KV. I think KV Kendra Vidalayas are all over the world. So I'm a KV student and I had a foreign language in class 6 as German. My mother is Sanskrit PhD and I have not taken Sanskrit at all because this was something which was not my cup of tea for sure. Okay, so I have taken German as a foreign language, as an additional language, and then I took forwarded. In class 6, I got the result of my UT as 3 marks out of 40, which was discouraging as hell. It was really discouraging, true. In 7th class, again the same thing happened. I got a very bad score. But the same teacher who was teaching me in 6th class told my parents now openly, she is not doing anything. She's worthless, she's this, she's that, blah, blah, blah. She might be good in English, Hindi, Sanskrit, maths, EVS or any of the subjects, but she is not at all good in German. And my mother is a very proud woman and she always wants me to go and study in abroad. She always wants me to do that. So she was very disheartened with that and she said, Ki, I really want you to work for it. I'm not able to afford the tuitions for German as well. Because this is something we belong to a middle class family and I cannot do that. If you want me, you want the foreign language classes too, so this is something which is not possible. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So there was that insult which was there and that made that kick that in 7th class I was a topper in German.
Wow.
After completing my 7th class, 8th class started and it was a competition for me, the German, because there were 45 students and I want to beat myself. I wanted to compete with me, but I would not say with me because there were many other people and that time I was young, too young enough to understand that I want to compete with myself instead of others. So I personally thought that I should compete with them and since I was second. So it again broke me enough that I am second and I wanted to be the first as I was in 7th class. So in 9th class again, we had a choice. The sections get changed and in India they have a system that, 9th class you have to choose between Hindi or any of the additional languages. So I chose Hindi as well as German and I said I'll be able to tolerate this stuff. I'll definitely be able to do that. In 9th class and 10th class, I went like that and I was there. In 10th class, I got 9.8 CGPA, including 10 CGPA in German. And I proved my parents again. But the story didn't end here. Between that, what happened was that there were Olympiads that were going on. There were exams, there were international examinations, there were interviews, there were many things that were going on in a foreign language forum. So, since I had given 8th class examination as an international student, so in the German Embassy Goethe Institute, Max Muller Bhavan, which is in New Delhi, so there I have given as an international student the examination and I clarified it. Again, that I got 57 marks out of 60.
Wow.
Those 3 marks were still there and I couldn't resist it. And I was hoping that I could go to Germany, but I couldn't. So in 8th class, the kick was that I wanted to go to Germany, at anyhow, by hook or by crook. But I have to do that. Okay, so in 10th class, I was like, this is the thing, I'll do it, I'll go for the Olympiad. I went to the Olympiad in Billiard School and the Bluebell School actually, and then I got rejected again. I was not even selected. I got, I don't know even how many marks I got, but there was no name of me in the list. And again it broke me, it shattered me completely. In 11th class, finally, after 10th class, the results came in May. So one of my German teacher has said to me that, Khushbu, I would suggest you to go for an interview in the Max Muller Bhavan, which is going to take place on 20th of April. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. But till then, I had just given up on myself, to be very truthful. I was damn sure about it that if it will not get clear, I'll not study German anymore. I was done with it. Being a teenager, being that egoistic teenager to be specific, so I finally went to give the examination, to give the interview. So the people who were going to take my interview were the same people to whom or with whom I went to the German camps, going through our schools. So she asked me about why do you want to take German and you don't have German in KV in 11th and 12th class, how would you cope up with that, and all these stuffs. I answered them well, and after then later on, they just started talking. And I was like, man, I'm sitting here, you should talk to me. Why are you guys talking to yourself? So then I just, you can't say rudely, but I know that they are quite straightforward. So I just asked them, shall I take a leave? And they said yes. And then I moved out. After moving out, I just realized that on 7th May, I got a news that I've selected from Germany. And this was the time when I was like, yes, I proved to myself. But the story again didn't end there. So, what was the point was that I went to Germany there were 550 students who were being interviewed, and from each state, one student has to be selected, and I was selected from Delhi. Now, so there were 17 students selected from each state, and this is how it went on. We were 31 group of people who went to Germany and bashed out. We rocked, we performed, we enjoyed, that's it. We came back and I got a back. Back is like first semester in one subject you just got failed or you don't get enough marks to do that. So in physics, I got my back. Now I'm not a physics student at all. This is something which is definitely, I can't do it. I don't know physics, I just have learned Newton's law always. Never possible. So again, my mother told me only one thing, that Khushbu, you have to do it. And this is something we are proud of, that you have been to Germany. But this is not something that it's only. You have to go more. Then in 11th class, I succeeded. In 12th class, it's done. First and foremost, in all over the Delhi NCR, I was the first student to give the board examination of German, which was not possible at all. After that, the story again didn't end here. I was in a bad relationship in class 11th. Truly bad. My man is right sitting next to her, but he was not the one I was in a bad relationship with. Okay, so I was in a bad relationship for a certain time, and it was the darkest phase of my life after class 12. Reason, the person has betrayed me and harassed me mentally for a very long. And this was something I cannot take forward. I cannot talk to my parents about it. I cannot talk to my siblings or any of the persons like that. So that was the darkest phase of my life, and somebody told me that there is a movie that is going to be made in Shimla. It's again a German movie, Schnee Instagramchen. You all have learned or listened about the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Mm-hmm. Everybody's aware of that, right? Yeah. So we made a German movie, a short documentary of Schnee Instagramchen. That means the snow Instagrammer, just a kid's documentary. And I narrated the whole picture in the darkest phase of my life. So this was something, again, the people, my mother, my parents, everybody knew me internally that I'm not well for doing certain thing. But it was telling myself that no, I can do it. And this was the time when I actually did it. And again, Women Economic Forum, to be very true, is something much more bigger for me than this. In 2017, to be true, I was here. There was a woman called Felicia Phillips. I hope you have heard of her, maybe. And she's an author, she's an entrepreneur, she has written a book called Manifesting the God Chasing the Dreams. And in 2017, since she was a black lady, I hope you don't mind. So since she was a black lady in Pullman, Arrow City, she was at the same platform, she was narrating it, she was giving her own story, but there were hardly two people to listen to her. One was me and the other was somebody else, one of my friends. So that was the point when I really got in touch with her. And she was one of those persons I really get inspiration from every day. She's a fitness freak, to be very true. She has 2 kids. She's doing wonderful job. She's an author as well. I was in contact with her consistently. And then finally she told me 2 months back that there is a Women Economic Forum going to take place in Delhi, in India, and you should definitely tell your story about it. And that's where I'm at. I would genuinely like you all to get inspired every day. and chase God, chase your dream, be open about your choices.
Yeah.
Never think about what other is going to feel about
Right.
it. I'm happy being with my man, being with my family, and I'm glad that I'm here. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Okay, I'm thinking time is gone. Time is fast spent, but maybe if there's anyone that has a question, or any of us, and then one little exercise I will have us do before we leave. Any question? It's all sinking in. Okay, so maybe we'll just do our exercise and then I know our time is up, right? We still have some time. Oh, cool.
Excuse me, did you tell something about your authoring or what you are doing now after the experience? So tell a little bit.
A little bit about my
today.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I do today. So yeah, because I think I didn't get to do that at the
Yeah,
beginning.
exactly.
Yes, yes. So my name is Mofoluwasho Ilebari. That Mofoluwasho simply means the Lord is my shepherd.
Wow.
And it's been the story of my life.
Wow.
The short form is Fofo. If you call me Fofo, I know that you're my personal person. So feel free to do that after today. But as we shared those stories about unleashing next possibilities, you know, Shani talked a lot about being open, being willing, and taking the risks. Because if we don't do that, we really can't fly. So that really led me to some of the work that I do now, which is all around helping people be unstoppable. So I do that with my writing. I write books on confidence, on productivity, on balance, anything helping the woman just say, what is stopping you and how can we move you to the next level? I do speaking along those lines as well. And then of course some coaching and mentoring alongside. And with the writing, even the writing was another example of embracing no and unleashing possibilities. Because I didn't know I could write. I could write a poem here and there, maybe a blog here and there. But I knew that there were stories to share. And I struggled to write. 30 words was like a year. I'm like, gosh, I thought it was so easy to write. How come everybody is an author and I just didn't know how to do it? So I tried to get some help. And I didn't get the right kind of help. Let's just put it that way. It was a bit more difficult than I thought. So at the point where I was going to give up, I went for a cleaning. I was cleaning up in the house. And as I gathered up business cards, I'm sure many of us came with our business cards for the conference, I realized I had almost filled up a bucket with all sorts of complimentary cards. And I looked at a lot of the services. I said, half of these cards I would never call the owners. And as I packed them to throw them into the bin, a thought just crossed my mind that, oh my goodness, this is exactly how someone is taking my business card that I shoved in their faces and throwing it in the bin. So I said, okay, so what is it that could last beyond a business card? What is it that you come for a conference like this, you can give people your stories, your experiences? So I decided to write that for every speaking engagement I would get, I would leave them with something more than a business card. I would leave them with a book. And that's how I started the journey. And in 1 year, I wrote 10 books.
Wow.
It's been 2 years, I have 18 books already.
Wow.
And it's amazing what you can do when you decide
Yes.
to embrace.
Yes.
Embrace your dreams, embrace possibilities,
Yes.
unleash the second chances,
Yeah.
and go with it.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
Absolutely.
You never know. What if it works?
That's right.
And you know, I wrote something down. Let me read that very quickly. Time is up, but I wrote it down. 5 things we should declutter. And I thought of that to share as ladies. 5 things to declutter as we think of unleashing new possibilities. And the first thing I wrote down, it's funny, declutter your wardrobe.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Yeah.
I found that sometimes we hold on to some of those things that you should get rid of in your wardrobe.
Yeah.
Because it just brings some emotional
Yeah.
connection, but guess what? It's slowing you down.
Yeah.
You have to let it go. Some clothes you're thinking I will still fit into that size 8. Embrace your size 12 and flaunt it, and just let go of those size 8s. There is a girl who would appreciate those shoes, man. There is someone who will appreciate that handbag. Just give it up.
Yeah.
Declutter. So in the next 90 days, I want to challenge you. Declutter your wardrobe. Go back home and see what is it that I really don't need in this world. That's number one. The second thing, declutter your relationships. We talked a lot about friendships. We talked about, the lady you talked about, Felicia, right? It's amazing what can happen when we declutter our relationships.
Yeah.
There are people who just don't add to you. They don't add to you. Every time you see them, they just kind of wash down on your dreams. It's important to let go of such people. They're not here. This is Women Economic Forum. We're all multipliers. So it's important to embrace one another. Network while you're here. Network, get to know people. The answer to your question may just be sitting right beside you.
Right.
So do something quickly. Just look at that person and say, I value you. Yeah, and I'm glad to be here with you because you never know. You never know. The question you're asking, that person might just be the answer. The third thing to declutter is your I will do it later list. I will do it later. There's Monday, there's Tuesday, there's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's no later. There's no later. Just tell me a day without.
Right.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, many times we're not unleashing those possibilities because we're thinking, I'll do it later.
Get around to it.
So declutter that list. Lessen the number. Just tick it off and declutter a couple of things. The fourth thing that you need to declutter is your spending. Okay, look at that neighbor. Say, girl. And why is that important? Because sometimes I found out that when I coach my clients, I found out sometimes financial burdens or obligations, they slow us down sometimes.
Yeah.
They make us less confident. They make us, you just feel like there's a whole weight you're carrying around. What if only we spend some time to just unravel how exactly am I spending? What's coming in? What's going out? What are my expenses? I'm sure Shirley has a whole story about, with the work she's doing. What am I spending? What is coming in? Where is my investment? I don't know about you, but when I've got money, I'm happy, girl. I'm just, when I can make my hair without having to think about my wallet, I'm good to go. So declutter that because that would help you. And the last one is our self-criticism. We're usually our worst negative check. There are many voices in my head. I woke up this morning and it's like, can you do it? Oh, are you up to it? Oh, what will you say? What if they don't show up? What if? Have you got those voices? Oh, they're there. But then, whose voice are you going to listen to?
Right.
The voice of the self-critic or the voice of the confident woman? I want to challenge us as we embrace new possibilities. Think of all the examples we've shared. Pick one thing that you're going to do differently. And with that, I would ask us to please stand. Close your eyes. Take a deep breath. What's stopping you? What's really stopping you? When you think of 2019 and the many dreams and goals that you have, what's really stopping you? I want you to think about that one thing that you're going to let go of right now so you can unleash new possibilities. Do you have it? If you have it, I want you to take a step forward, just one step forward. Now this time, you're going to take a second step, but think about it. It's symbolic. That next step is saying, I can do this.
Yes.
That next step is saying, yes.
Yes.
That next step is saying, I'm unleashing possibilities.
Yes.
Are you ready to take that step?
Yes.
Are you really ready to take that step? Go on, girl, take that step. It's a beautiful day. I want to appreciate Nicole. Come on, everyone. Let's take a picture.
Amazing.
Yeah. Picture. And then we'll ask everyone to join us as well.
Where's she go? Where's she Help her.
Oh, she's got time to help us.
Oh, where's she go?
Good morning, Elena. We're from yesterday. So
Yeah,
a couple of them familiar faces. So some people are from
Come on.
So you need to sleep like a baby.
Okay, we need to turn that
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was
off.
blinding.
You know.
Do I have these glasses
Now I'm gonna ask everyone, let's have this moment together. Let's have this moment together. Let's all have this moment together.
Yes.
We're
very
embracing
good.
change. We're embracing possibilities. Yeah, don't empty her wardrobe. She's got lots of them.